Today, we're going to give you a little tour of our platform on some specific things that are very concrete on how to buy, how to set a cohort, how to administer the tests. For that, I will have our Chief Technology Officer, co-founder of the company, Mr. Gerardo Saenz, who will be joining in just a second. Before that, I just want to start with a reminder that the platform that you're going to be having access to has multiple options, but obviously one of them is assessment. So we will make sure that, oh, by the way, someone is reminding me that we're recording the webinar, so just so you are all aware. So again, the platform, the Territorium ecosystem, is a Territorium that is based on a series of functionalities that we have put together to help institutions and students capture competencies and skills during the learning journey. And with that comes a lot of other stuff that we have that will be connected to HEIghten. You may or may not want to use that part. That is really up to you. We announced that for those that have acquired HEIghten, we have some special options and pricing on those other modules. But today, we're going to just talk about assessment. And the important aspect of this, as I said, is that we will provide better reporting integrated. We will create those digital wallets for the students. We will give you an opportunity as an institution to take as much advantage as you can about this ecosystem. With that, today's purpose is for you to learn how to buy credits, how to create a cohort, and how to administer or assign a test. So I'm going to just pass control now to Mr. Gerardo, and
thank you, Kiko. Let me share my screen. So, as you know, first thing to do is enter live.territorium.com. You should have an email with your username, in this case, your email, and a temporary password. And in this case, I'll use mine, which is in a demo. So once you enter your username and password and click login, we are entering our university admin site, which is in the right top corner. Once I click my name, I'll see my university name here, in this case, University Demo. So we'll see multiple options here. The main options we're working on, it's in this webinar, is the marketplace, the configuration section, and the administration section, which you also know it as cohorts. In this case, we can see the different HEIghten assessments, and if we click on, for example, quantitative literacy, we can decide how many tests are we buying here. Each test is basically related, or will be related to a student. So in the case I need, for example, 10 students to take this test, I'll add 10 tests to the cart. I can decide if the test will be proctored or without proctoring. And well, for demo purposes, I buy only one. Once I'm ready, I'll add it to the cart. And if you see this icon, when you click on it, you can see and review what are the products you're buying right now. We can proceed to payment through a credit or debit card. We are about to release also ACH transfer, which is basically a bank way, a way to make a transfer to a bank account. But in this case, I'll use my credit card. I'll just do this very, very fast. And once I click pay now, let me share my screen again. There you go. So once you enter your credit card data, you'll see this message: payment succeeded. You don't have any more products in your cart. We can review also our orders and see how many available, in this case, quantitative literacy tests I have, how many I've been using. And I can also review my latest orders and see the status. In this case, it was approved automatically. I can also see what test was involved or what product was involved in each transaction, and review what was my order in this case. So now that I have my product, I have enough stock to move forward. This is a very simple step, but very important step, and we need to create a new learning experience, or we can use one if we have already created one. But the learning experience is basically a way to group our students that are taking these tests, and this can be used again. So these students can be related to multiple cohorts if we want to, let's say, assign a test to a course or to a class, to a specific class. So this learning experience will help us do this. For this example, and in many use cases, you just need to create a learning experience and just leave it without learners, because we will start through a special code. Students will start creating their own accounts and relating automatically to this cohort, this administration, and to this learning experience. So I'll say, okay, this is HEIghten fall 2021, and I put just webinar session just to identify this learning experience. I just need to put the name, submit it, and that's all I need. As you can see, we have no learners, and learners will be automatically related to this learning experience once I create my cohort or my administration. So now that I have a learning experience, I'm going to the administration section, to the dashboard specifically, and I'll create a new administration. This administration, I'll call it HEIghten quantitative literacy fall 2021. I need to relate the test or the product, in this case quantitative literacy. I have 8 tests in stock. I can choose the available dates we will have in this cohort, this administration. I'll choose my my learning experience, which has right now 0 learners. I can also relate a survey in case I have one, in case I need one. I have a survey called example 1, and we will look at it in a moment. So once I've filled all these inputs, I'll click on the submit button. I'll look at it at the end. So we have this HEIghten Quantitative Literacy Fall 2021. I can review the attributes I have. I can edit also this administration, this cohort, and I can see how the students and their progress. In this case, we don't have any students yet. So you can see there's a code related to this administration. So this code is the code that you will share to your students, and that code will be entered by your students in the login section. It's the same URL, live.territorium.com, and as you can see, there is an enter code label here. If I click on it, it'll ask me for a code. The student can use a past account they used before in another HEIghten assessment, for example, or they can create a new account. So I'll enter my name. Get out of the webinar. I'll enter my email address, which will be my username. I can enter a password. So now, once I've filled out all these attributes, I'll click on create, and it'll send me directly to the main section, the home page. And in this case, as you can see, this student already has related quantitative literacy, and he's ready to start taking this test. I'll go back as an admin, and I will show you also how to create surveys and relate them to an administration. So I go to my admin site. I have this assessments section, which I can create new questions. I have this option. Can name my question. In this case, I'll put survey question 7. I can choose multiple options. We have single choice, multiple choice, drop down, fill in the blank, open response. In this case, I'll create a single choice question type. I'll select that this question is it will be used in a survey. The scoring type, I will just say it has no value. I can tag my questions if I need it, and I'll start writing here the question I want to ask our students before entering in this case, quantitative literacy or any other assessment. So I'll insert how old are you? I don't know. Old enough. Young, I don't know. This is just an example. So once I'm ready, I'll click on create. And I have survey question 7 here. And I have other questions also. Now we need to create a form, which is a way to group these questions and create this multiple question form or test survey. Sorry, I'll put survey webinar. It is a survey. I can create sections within this form. In this case, I'll use just one section. Section 1. I can decide between sections how I'll be ordering them. I can also set some time for this specific section. I can also choose if the question within this section will be shuffled or not. And I also need to choose what questions we are showing to the students. As you can see, you can reutilize or reuse the questions between forms. You can create new forms, new survey forms. And once you're ready with this one, you click on the create. You can see the survey webinar. And if I go back to the administration section into the dashboard, if I click on add a new administration, I will be able to choose that new survey form. And this survey will appear at the beginning of the assessment, any assessment, if a survey is related within an administration or a cohort. And that's basically what the topics we wanted to show you, and how you can start preparing for your first administration on the Territorium platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerardo. I think that we are going to start taking questions, but maybe to recap a little bit, you mentioned that the first thing they need to do is to have a username and a password that we have already provided.
Yeah.
To go to a very specific platform called life.territorium.com.
Mm-hmm.
And once they're in there, they're going to see a university name on the top right of their screen once they're logged in. And they're going to pick that. And that is going to give them access to a series of options. The first one is the marketplace, and the marketplace is where they can buy stuff.
Yeah.
And buying can be as simple as choosing the number of tests that they want from each module, proctor or unproctor, add them to the cart and pay. Then they have to make sure that whatever they want to do, they go to learning experiences. Well, they can see the orders there. Mm-hmm. But they go to learning experiences and they create a learning experience. This might be something new for many people, but that's the way we connect things in the back the back of our platform.
There's an explanation for this. So part of this ecosystem, we want to take advantage of this ecosystem. So we mapped within these learning experiences, we mapped achievements. Those achievements can be related then to learning outcomes, to badges, to this comprehensive learner record, and that's the way we can map learning outcomes to the HEIghten assessment outcomes in this case. But it also help to experience other kind of features within the platform. So yeah, that's the real reason.
Right. And then if you, there's a question about if people can change and update their password.
Yeah, so you should be able to update your password. You can click on forgot password within the login page. There's a forget password, or you can enter here into the issuer section. And I think I don't have the. You should be able to change your password also here. I will take a look at what's missing. Maybe some permissions here. But okay, who asked? Just to take note. Josh Silve. Okay.
Great. And so, yes, you can change your password. Let's go back to learning experiences for a second, Gerardo, and make sure people understand that once they are there, they have to create a learning experience without learners. Because what's going to happen here is that this step will generate a code, or the code is generated in the next one.
No, the code is generated once you created your cohort, your administration. So, for example, we have this last administration we created, and we have this code that is unique per administration.
Perfect.
So you just need to share this code with your students, and they'll enter to the same URL, live.territorium.com, and they need to enter their code. They click on enter code, they apply this code, and they automatically will be related, associated to that specific administration.
Perfect. Are there any questions from the group? Because this is basically what we wanted to share from a step 1, step 2, step 3, how to buy, how to create a cohort, how to administer the test. And apparently there is a question.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Gerardo. This is Solomon Alal from Morgan State University.
Hello, Dr. Solomon.
How you doing? How you doing? This is great, and it's really easy to use because I used to use the old ETS one. That was actually more complicated. But so congratulations. I just have one question. Okay, let's say that I want my students to take, just one assessment or 2 or 3. Let's say I want them to do critical thinking, quantitative reasoning, and something on diversity. So would they use the same code, or how does that work?
No, they will use 3 different codes because you relate one single test to each administration right now. So you should need you will need to create 3 administrations and share each code for each test. So that's the way you should do it right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have more questions on the chat. I don't know if you can see them, Gerardo. There's one about, in terms of emails, I will share my email so we can have more conversations, so don't worry about that. The writing assessment, why isn't the writing assessment in the purchasing options?
Yeah, so it's about to be released. We just had some interaction on the backend with ETS, so that's something we are just finishing with together with ETS to assess the specific written questions, open questions that are within that test specifically. But that's something that definitely we're going to offer in the short term.
Okay. There's another question from Jessamine there. So in order to create an administration, you have to create a learning experience, correct?
Yeah, an administration needs a learning experience. You can use, I recommend to use a new learning experience per administration, but in the case that it makes sense, it makes sense, sorry, in certain use cases to have a single learning experience related to multiple administrations. That's also possible. And in that case, you can have, you could add the learners to the learning experience, and those learners, if you use that learning experience in multiple administrations, will have or will be related to that cohort.
So another question here that says, do you have a document that lists instructions for students who test in a non-proctor environment?
Yes, we have. We can send it, but I don't know, Darrell, help me please here if we already have them on our website. We can upload them into our website also. I think that should be easier for all.
Okay. There's a question from Sherry here that is about previous inventory. When is that previous inventory going to be loaded from the ETS history and the inventory that's available to universities into this platform so they know how many tests they have available?
So we are working with ETS to make sure to have a way to transfer those available credits past December. I don't know if maybe Tracy, well, we can answer that question, but definitely we are going to do something about left credit for those who will still have.
Yeah, and I think the trick there for us and for ETS and for all of the people on the phone is we have to have a cutoff date where as soon as the ETS platform is not used that day, those credits need to be available to the institutions that participate in our platform because they may have used some of the existing credits in the current ETS platform until certain date. So, you know, Sherry, to that, we will make sure that the credits that are left in the ETS platform are available at the cutoff date. There's a good question here also from Jasmine. How is each proctoring option managed? Meaning, how does each option administer the exam?
Maybe you can turn on your microphone and could you explain us a bit more, or what do you mean? Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I mean is that I know that the AI option, that's artificial intelligence. So I'm assuming, you know, that's a computer related thing. But if it's unproctored, does the student just log in and just, you know, take the exam? And I'm assuming, you know, they're not proctored in any type of capacity. Is there another option where if you would say a proctor proctors them, but not in relation to, you know, the artificial intelligence proctoring?
Okay. That we right now are just offering the AI proctor, and if you choose non-proctor, there's like there are any kind of supervision or any tools to supervise the non-proctor. The AI proctor, the advantage is, well, AI is doing the job, but also it allows the human proctor to track a student's test specifically. But yeah, at the moment there are like no way to proctor a non-proctor test, and we will see it. I think it's next week that we will show you how a student takes a test, and I will also show you how AI is working throughout the student's experience or throughout the test taking.
Yeah, I'll share in a minute the screen with the next webinars. And actually, if I can do that now,
Yeah.
that way.
Sorry, let me stop sharing my screen.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I wanted to share with all the people on the phone is that we are going to continue having webinars, basically taking a little bite at a time. And the next time we're going to be talking about the student experience, then scores and reporting. We're going to dedicate one session only to remote proctoring and how that works. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about the other things that this ecosystem allows people to do. And to the point of remote proctoring, Jasmine, I guess the key, if you attend the webinar, we will show you how, if you choose that option, like Gerardo was saying, we could have maybe one or two proctors proctoring many, many students and still be a hybrid where the AI is not necessarily making decisions for the institution. It's just basically showing the proctor, the human proctor, if you have one for say 500 students, the signals that are like the alerts from all the students that she or he is proctoring, so they can actually make decisions on whether that student continues testing or not. The AI is basically an enabler, but in our platform, we can work with you, enabling a human proctor to ultimately make the decision whether that student continues or not. But you will see that on December 9th, it's going to be a very interesting experience because the possibilities to create hybrid models are there for you, only whenever it makes sense. And also, I have to say the pricing that we offer is extremely affordable compared to other proctoring options out there. So with that, if there are no other questions, the only thing I'm going to give you is my information. That email, kiko.suarez@territorium.com, is where you have to ask any additional questions you may have, whether it is about what we heard today or whether it's anything that's pending in your to-do list. The only thing that I would ask you, if it is at all possible, is to remember to send me in a separate note, not copying anybody, if you have a forecast of how many tests we'll be applying, so we can start working with you. And then also, if your preference will be to buy using purchase orders or credit cards, I already have some institutions that want to go one way or another, so just email me. Let's start the conversation, and then please continue to come to these webinars to learn how to practically do this. I guess with that, Gerardo, thank you, and thanks everyone for attending, and we'll see you next time.